Hi everyone, today we're going to be talking about two-way frequency tables, and specifically we're going to learn how to use two-way frequency tables to make conclusions about data and calculate some certain statistics regarding that data. So let's begin by talking about what a frequency table even is. A frequency table shows the number of times that an event or a certain category is occurring, and usually we'll talk about something like a survey and ask people questions, and then we'll put all of the responses into a table and we'll show the number of times people responded in a certain way. So this example shows a survey about which sport students at a school prefer to watch. So you can look at the table and see that 270 people in the survey preferred to watch basketball, 159 preferred baseball, 284. We could have put even the total on the bottom for how many people were surveyed. And we could just add up those three numbers to get that total. All right, so a two-way frequency table shows a little bit more information, obviously. It shows how two variables or categories are working together. So here's an example, again with sports. So in this survey, people were also asked a second question. They were asked, do you play a sport? And so out of the number of people that were surveyed, if we kind of go back and look here, oops, there we go. We still have the same number of people that responded, 270 people for basketball, but now we can see that 180 of those people play a sport and 90 didn't. And so that adds up to the total people that were responding that they prefer to watch basketball. Okay, and you can kind of go down the table and see some different things based on that. We're going to learn how to calculate some statistics regarding that. But first, let's practice actually reading the frequency table. So this example is showing the number of people who bought certain items at a concession stand. So we'll look at a couple questions together first. How many people bought soda and pizza? So we kind of find the intersection of those two pieces of information. We have 65 people, it looks like, between our soda and our pizza, our soda column and our pizza row. So 65 people bought both soda and pizza. Now, different numbers of people bought soda and other items, but we cared about only people who also bought pizza. The second question, how many people bought juice? Well, that's pretty general. They just want to know in general how many people bought juice. They could have bought anything else or no food. So the total would be the answer to that question. 72 people bought juice. All right, so I want you to think about these next two questions, maybe even pause this video and try them out, write some answers down, and then unpause it when you're ready to check your answers. How many people bought a corn dog but no drink? And then how many people bought a hot dog? So the first question, how many people bought a corn dog but no drink? So we'll find our corn dogs here, and we're going to go all the way across to no drink because they couldn't buy soda, couldn't buy juice. So 18 people bought a corn dog and no drink. And then lastly, how many people bought a hot dog? Well, we had 50 who bought it with a soda, 25 who bought it with juice, and 28 who bought it with no drink. Or this table is really nice, and it actually gave us the total of 103. So 103 people must have bought a hot dog. All right, I have one more practice for us to think about, and this one is asking us to create a frequency table. So let's go ahead and read this context together. Marlene surveyed 11th and 12th graders at her school and found that 345 students prefer reading fantasy books. Okay, I'm going to underline that. 140 of those people, it says, were 11th graders. 112 people prefer reading mystery novels. 70 of those people were 12th graders. And then we've got 110 preferring other categories when reading. And lastly, 230 11th graders were included in the survey. So that is a lot of information, and we need to somehow put it all into a table. And we need to think first about what variables are being compared. And we've got a lot of information about the types of books, but we've also got some information about the grade people are in. So that is our other variable. We've got 11th graders and 12th graders. And then I'm just going to go ahead and abbreviate maybe a little bit here. We've got 3 different categories for books. We've got fantasy, or maybe I won't abbreviate. Then we've got mystery novels. And then we've got our other category. And then we also have some totals here, which is important in our frequency table. Okay, so it says first that 345 students prefer reading fantasy books, but that's just kind of a general number. It doesn't tell us how many, 11th or 12th, except that it does say 140 were 11th. So in our fantasy column, our total needs to be 345. And 140 were 11th graders. And we can figure out that missing number there in that column by subtracting 345 minus 140. And that's going to tell us how many 12th graders there are. So it turns out that that number was missing, but it comes out to 205 once we subtract. And then we've got to deal with the second category, mystery novels. So this is pretty similar here. It says 112 preferred reading mystery novels. So that's a total. And that 70 of those people were in 12th grade. So again, we have a missing number in this column, but we can figure it out because we have the total. So 112 minus 70 comes out to 42. So that was another number that we had to figure out. And then we've got 110 preferring other categories. So that's not a lot of information, but they do give us a total for the other. And the last piece of information is different. So that doesn't go with other. It says 230 11th graders were included in the survey. So that's a total. They're giving us the total over there for the 11th graders. And so you can still find some of these missing numbers though, because we have our fantasy in 11th grade, our mystery in 11th grade, and we have a total. So if we add up 140 and 42 and then take that away from 230, we're going to end up with, let's see, what is it? 48? And so we found that missing number, and now we can find the other missing number in that column by subtracting 110, or subtracting 48 from 110. And if we subtract those two numbers, we get a 62. And then the last part's pretty easy. We just need some totals here. So 205 plus 70 plus 62, that comes out to 337 for the total number of 12th graders surveyed. And then our total here is 567. And you can actually get that total by either adding the column, the total column, or the total row. And so that would be one example of filling out a two-way frequency table given some information. So I'd like you to go and view this next part of our playlist because we're going to talk about more of the statistics, but hopefully this helped you with understanding what a frequency table